Hi, I'm Colin Strayer, and for the next hour I'm going to take you through some 56 years of PCC history. For a variety of reasons, the Electric Railway President's Conference Committee was formed in 1929 to design a standard streetcar that could be used worldwide, encompassing the most up-to-date technology and could be produced and maintained at a relatively low cost. The three films you're about to see document the results of their extensive research into rail transit. We cover them from coast to coast in Canada and the United States, from the early 30s to the mid-80s, often with little to distinguish the times. This first film, titled Red Rocket, the nickname given to the TTC's cream and maroon colored vehicles, was my labor of love, taking over a year to make. In all, almost 7 hours of footage was shot. What we end up with is only 10 minutes long. I hope you enjoy this journey back as we view PCCs the way they were.
Okay, ready for me to come out? How far am I feet from me? Okay, you're right at the edge of the porch. Yeah, that's good off the limb,
Oswald has been shot.
They died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
This nation will rise up.
I am speaking to you.
Live out the true meaning of its creed.
10 Downing Street.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Fire, please, for me. Is that something?
And transit to tomorrow means rapid transit for the greater Toronto, of which the citizens of tomorrow will be proud.
I'm standing in a car in the TTC's Wychwood yard in Toronto's West End. 40 years ago, this yard was one of many, housing and servicing North America's largest PCC fleet, amounting to some 745 cars. It is also in this yard 10 years ago where our next film begins. Directed by filmmaker Dave Willits, Transfer is the story of a day in the life of a somewhat tired PCC. A couple interesting things to note here. When this film was made in the fall of 1974, it had been 10 years since the last run of a Peter Witt, and would be another 6 years until the public would see the new light rail vehicles for the first time. This was a luxury not afforded to me when making Red Rocket, in which CLRVs outnumbered PCCs 10 to 1. Shot in black and white, Transfer gives one the feeling that the streetcar has a life of its own, running on a seemingly timeless and endless loop. Sitting behind me here are about 75 PCCs awaiting the inevitable, the cutter's torch. Wychwood is undoubtedly one of the last PCC junkyards. In the months to come, they'll be taken out of here one at a time, stripped for any last parts, and scrapped. This is where their lives began, and is where they end. It is the end of an era, the falling out with the love affair of rail transit, and it is progress, although it is believed that by the mid-1990s, rail transit will return stronger than ever. This film, entitled PCCs of North America, is for the most part made up of footage shot by John Prophet between 1938 and 1949. Shot on 16mm Kodachrome at a time when only a handful of Hollywood films existed in color, this film takes us to all but 5 North American cities that operated PCCs, namely El Paso, Birmingham, Newark, Dallas, and Fort Worth. For all of those who don't see all this change as progress, here's a chance to see 28 cities the way they were.